Central Asia's leaders meet as Taliban makes gains in Afghanistan. Talks between 5 nations are being held in Turkmenistan, with war in neighboring Afghanistan topping their agenda. The leaders of 5 Central Asian countries have gathered for talks in Turkmenistan. With the spiral of war in neighboring Afghanistan topping their agenda as the United States-led foreign forces leave the country. The talks in the Caspian Sea town of Avaza on Friday come as the Taliban challenges Afghan government forces in several large cities after weeks of gains in the countryside, including in provinces next to the 3 former Soviet stands that border the country: Tajikistan, Turkmenistan and Uzbekistan. Turkmenistan's President Gurbanguly Berdimuhamedov called Afghanistan the question that worries all of us on Wednesday as state television showed him receiving his Tajikistan counterpart Emomali Rahmon for bilateral talks ahead of the summit. Meanwhile, Russian and Uzbek forces have also completed the active phase of joint military maneuvers near the Afghan border as scheduled, the Interfax news agency reported on Friday, citing the command headquarters of the exercises. Russia had said the drills would involve 1,500 troops. Both countries are nervous that a worsening security situation in Afghanistan could spill over into Central Asia. A top Kremlin military official flew into the region on Thursday to observe the exercises and hold talks. Fighting in Afghanistan's long-running conflict began to intensify in May, when US and other foreign forces began the withdrawal due to be completed later this month. In June, the Taliban captured Afghanistan's main crossing with Tajikistan, Sher Khan Bandar. While Kabul's troops have been forced to retreat into both Tajikistan and Uzbekistan in recent weeks during heavy fighting with the group, the Taliban has insisted that it has no designs on Central Asia, and has established official contacts with both Uzbekistan and Turkmenistan as it casts itself as a government in waiting. But analysts argue that a growing security vacuum in the country can pose its own threat to Central Asia, as well as the region's growing economic cooperation with Kabul. Valery Gerasimov, chief of the Russian military's general staff, arrived in Uzbekistan for talks on Thursday, and to observe military drills that are expected to wrap up next week. During a meeting with Uzbek counterpart Shukrat Kalmuhamedov, Gerasimov said the drills took place to practice actions to repel terrorist threats. The main threat to the Central Asian region today comes from the Afghan direction, Gerasimov said, noting that Moscow was increasing its supplies of weapons to the region. The annual summit being held in Avaza is a rare instance of the Central Asian states convening for talks without powers from outside the region, such as Russia, China or the US. U.S. 6 killed in Alaska sightseeing plane crash. 5 of the people on board were from a Holland America Line cruise ship that had docked in the city of Ketchikan. A sightseeing plane has crashed in southeastern Alaska, killing all 6 people on board, according to the United States Coast Guard. The plane's emergency alert beacon was activated at about 11:20 a.m. local time on Thursday as it crashed in the area of Misty Fjords National Monument, near the city of Ketchikan. The Coast Guard and Federal Aviation Administration said. A helicopter company reported seeing wreckage on a ridgeline in the search area, and Coast Guard crew members found the wreckage at about 2:40 p.m. The Alaska State Troopers said in a statement that poor visibility and deteriorating weather hampered aerial search efforts for part of the afternoon. A Coast Guard helicopter lowered 2 rescue swimmers to the site, and they reported no survivors, the agency said. The identities of those killed in the crash were not immediately released. Weather conditions were a cloud ceiling of 274.32 meters, 900 feet, with mist and light rain. Visibility was 3.22 kilometers, 2 miles, and winds were 12.87 kilometers per hour, 8 miles per hour, the Coast Guard said. We can confirm that a float plane carrying 5 guests from New Amsterdam was involved in an accident in Ketchikan, and there are no survivors. It was an independent tour not sold by Holland America Line. Our thoughts and prayers are with the family and friends of the victims. The plane involved in Thursday's crash, a de Havilland Beaver, was owned by Southeast Aviation LLC. Our hearts are shattered at the loss of 6 people today. We are thinking of and grieving with the families of the 5 passengers and our dear friend and pilot aboard the aircraft, the company said in a statement. We are cooperating with the first responders and agencies involved, including the U.S. Coast Guard, National Transportation Safety Board and Alaska State Troopers. 5 passengers on the flight were from the Holland America Line cruise ship New Amsterdam, the company said in a statement. The ship stopped in Ketchikan on Thursday and delayed its afternoon departure after the plane crash. The company said it was making counseling services available to guests and crew. The float plane excursion was offered by an independent tour operator and not sold by Holland America Line, the statement said. Ketchikan is a popular stop for cruise ships visiting Alaska, and cruise ship passengers can take various sightseeing excursions while in port. Popular among them are small plane flights to Misty Fjords National Monument, where visitors can see glacier valleys, snow-capped peaks and lakes in the wilderness area. In 2019, 2 sightseeing planes collided in mid-air, killing 6 of the 16 people on board the aircraft, sourced news agencies.